Howdy guys, it's Luke at Luke's APS, and in this video, let's talk about how much crap we actually need. I'll see you after this. So guys, this video has been brought on because a lot of you know that big things are happening for my business, Geek Gaming. The Luke's APS brand is growing quite quickly now, and we're having to move into quite a big unit, which is all happening over Christmas, which all exciting stuff. What this means is everything that I've been doing in this house has to move out of the house. However, I still want to do bits from home. I still want to have like a little hobby space for myself, because for the first time in ages I feel like I might actually sit down at a weekend and paint stuff for myself. And this has made me think, because I've got such a small space now from having all upstairs, I've got one little box room and it's tiny as this room. As you can see, this desk here, that's how big it is. I mean, it looks bigger on camera because it's quite a wide angle lens, but this room's only 10 by 12. Literally get a double bed in here and that's it. It's not very tall either because it's in the loft, but it's adequate for a hobby space. But what I'm thinking is a lot of people might have like a little space like this, and I'm just trying to minimize everything down. So I'm going to be able to fit a computer with dual monitors, a YouTube studio, plus a hobby space all in this little space. So I thought it'd be quite interesting just to see how I get it all out. Everybody's always interested in paint racks and bits and bats. Plus it'll be nice to see how much I actually just get rid of and just send down to the unit. So guys, let's have a look at how much stuff I've actually got to get into this room. I've got a really big room over there. It's like 14 feet by 12 feet. It's a good sized room. Along one whole wall that's like 12 foot long, I've got maybe 3 paint sets. I've got all my spray cans from Army Painter, plus all my cheaper blacks and greys and everything else that I use for base coating. I've got all my craft paints. I've got literally all my tools. I've got loads of stuff just all in that area of the room. You spin it round, I've got all my drawers with my static grasses, my applicators, my flop boxes, just absolutely everything. Now a lot of that will be going down to the unit, but I need to pick my paint ranges that I'm going to be using, a few bits of flocks for basing. I'm still going to be doing my multi-basins and things at home, so I still need to get a lot of that that's in there into this small space. So guys, before we start building stuff, let's talk about paint racks, because that's the most important thing. A friend of mine got a load of stuff from Hobby Zone, so I reached out to him, just said, look, it seems like really good stuff. What I liked about it as well is it looked good. The prices wasn't too bad. So they've sent me a load of stuff to have a proper look at. What I like about this is it's very modular, so you can fit it in weird spaces. Everything's about a foot. I've got 2 foot in this corner. I've got 2 foot here. So I've got space where it'll fit. Whereas the ones from like eBay, it'd be like a shelf and then loads of dead space. It wouldn't really work. So the modularity of this really sells itself. So let's get it open. Let's start building some bits up, and let's see how good they are. So when you get your packages and everything from Hobby Zone, it comes pretty well packed. Each one is individually wrapped in bubble wrap in its own perfectly sized box. I mean, I was pretty shocked on the packaging, to be fair. They are supplied with magnets, and at first I was like, why is there magnets? But it turns out that's how you connect them all together if you want to connect them together. I left the magnets out. I put them in a couple, but it's just because I was messing up the polarities, so I left them out, and I thought once I've got them all assembled and I know where I'm properly putting them, which I think I do, I'll put them in then. One big thing that I like about the Hobby Zone stuff over a lot that I've had and a lot that I've seen is, with it being CNC routed, they can do it at an affordable rate at 6mm. Laser cut stuff's normally 2 or 3mm. You don't normally see many laser cutting companies doing 6mm, and the reason for it is just the time it takes on a laser cutter. This is CNC routed, so obviously it can do it far quicker, and being 6mm makes them far sturdier and a lot better quality. And obviously the laminated wood with that nice white finish, it makes them look far better than any others that I've seen. So I'm very happy with the product so far. Assembly, assembly was very easy. The instructions are okay. Some of it's a bit like you have to look at it twice. It's a bit like an IKEA instruction manual because it's like one photograph and it's just telling you where things roughly go. So for fitting it on my desk, I'd pre-planned all this. Obviously, I got in contact with HobbyZone and I'd picked out what I wanted. And with the measurements and everything online, I was really happy to say that it all fit perfectly where it was supposed to go. I mean, I measured and double checked everything, but yeah, it was perfect. So guys, let's downsize. That's what this video is about. Right, I've got 453 colours and I've condensed it to about 100. This is the third day, guys. Organising and sorting out to get smaller took me so long, I didn't think it would. It's quite a hard thing to do. You get used to what you've got. Now I've got the full range of Army Painter. So what I've done out of the Army Painter, I've took the washers out of it, obviously. I've took the metallics. And that's about all I've took out of the Army Painter, maybe a black, because I don't have many blacks because I use them all the time. So that's what I've took out the Army Painter range. Now the reason for this, I'm going to use them for work, one, because I don't have to pay for them, and two, the better when they're used regular. Anybody knows that if you've got Army Painter, if you haven't used them for a while, they need a bloody good mix to get going. So where I'm going to be working regular, I'd rather have the paints that work best when they've been used regular. The paints that I've gone from are Vallejo. These Vallejo paints, I've had them for nearly 5 years. I have a hell of a lot of browns, creams and greens and green greys and greys because I started with Bolt Action. And as a fantasy painter, and I enjoy painting fantasy models over sci-fi models, them colours are handy, and having lots of browns and stuff is my thing. I love it, okay? So I've kept them. It's probably a bit overkill, which I'll probably reduce that over time. But picking your colours, now this is probably a good handy tip for somebody starting out as well. How I've done it, because I've got a lot of colours, I've probably got about 15 of each colour, okay? So for greens, I've gone for a dark, muted green. I've gone for a nice mid-tone and a very bright green. So I can, if I do like an orc skin, I can do them either quite realish looking to like really poppy bright green. And I keep it to 3s. However, in my drawers, I have kept some in-between colours for if I change it, but I very rarely use them. I have my main core 3 trios. So like with blues, I've chose a dark, a mid and a light. Same with the reds, same with the yellows. And I've minimised it down to just 3 of each. And I'll be happy with that. Having 15's nice, but having just 3 colours is more than enough. So if you're thinking of starting a paint range and you're thinking, bloody hell, it's expensive, it is. Just go, what colours do I need, and buy 3 of that colour, a dark, a mid and a light. And if you have a wash with that as well, you're sorted for most of your colours. Now the rest of the setup, like brushes were a big one because I've got hundreds of brushes. I don't need that. I mean, I've probably got more than I need here, but I've put enough brushes there. So I've got a couple of dry brushes. I've got a couple of big brushes for doing tanks or washers. I've got some detail brushes. I've got some crappy painting brushes for doing bulk work, and then my tools. Really all I use is a Stanley and a X-Acto blade, a little drill, hand drill, and then I have 3 sets of clippers. Now you might be looking at me thinking, why you got that? One, the Citadel ones, the old ones, I cut brass rod with them and I've knackered them, so I keep them for cutting metal rod or something that's really strong. The ones in the middle are the good quality Army Painter ones, which they're great clippers and they're not a bad price for doing it like exact cutting off the sprue. And then the sprue cutters from Army Painter I use for just cutting big bulks of plastic up. They don't get used that often, but when you've got to cut a big chunk of plastic off, it's nice just to be able to use them rather than maybe knackering up your good ones, okay? So that's why I have them. I've got my brush soap on there and I've got a couple of sculpting tools, and then obviously my kitchen towel, which is my favourite one. Having kitchen towel in a box is the best thing ever because I always lose the kitchen towel, put it down and never know where to put it, so having it in there is a massive thing. But this setup, I'm loving it so far. There's a lot of stuff to come in here still. Like I'm going to put a shelf in the corner, like a little unit in the corner for putting 1 of each spray can. I'm not going to do 1 of each colour from Army Painter. I'm just going to have a black, a mid, a black, a grey and a white. And then I'll have a couple of colours that I use regular, like browns, creams, and maybe if I've got like some fantasy models in, I'll have a colour for base coating. I'll only have one. I probably have about 5-6 cans at any one time in that corner. And then on there as well, there'll be bits of cleaning products like isopropanol and stuff like that, but I'll put that in a smaller container. I'm going to get a set of drawers for underneath or putting items in that I don't use so often. So I'll put more basing things in a set of drawers under the desk. But I've got to go to IKEA for that, so that's probably going to be another expensive trip. But guys, I hope this has been quite a nice insight to sorting out stuff into a smaller space. If you're new to the hobby, you don't actually need that much. Now, the hobby sewn stuff is very, very nice. You don't need this. However, I think, and I know I've been sent it for free, but out of all the cheap ones and all the, you know, half decent ones that I've had online, this is a nice option. Okay, I had the ones in there made by M&M Laser Cuts, and they've been very good. They've been moved around a lot, and I have broke them over the time because that room's changed so much. These Hobby Zone ones, if I'd have heard about them when I got them, I'd probably have gone with these because they're so modular. Being that 6mm, they're a lot stronger. They look a lot nicer, which I'd probably be ruined now if I'm in that room because of how messy it is. But what I like about it is how modular it is and how cheap it is just to buy 1 or 2 bits. So if you're starting out, you only need 1 or 2 paint racks. So that's probably going to cost you 25-30 quid for 2 little racks. And then you think it's a bit more expensive than the seriously cheap ones off eBay, but they're really flimsy. And after a while, they're going to start breaking. They don't look that great either. So it's a quality product that, you know, you'll buy it and it'll last. I mean, I can't say that, but everybody that's got these raves about them, I've been talking to quite a few people now, and they all said they're the best that they've ever bought, and I can see why it's a good quality product. All right, guys. But anyway, I hope that's been quite a nice insight to downsizing. It's very weird for me to think that this is the only space I've got at home to do. I know I'm going to have a workspace where I can do tables and I can build terrain while I'm down at work, but I kind of like this. It's kind of like how I started out, because I started out on a little desk on the landing, and it's back to that again, and it's quite a nice homey feeling. And because there's not so much clutter and because there's not so much stuff, I feel like I'll do more. I might not, but I just feel like I'll do things for myself. And with it being next to my computer, while that's rendering or doing something, I can just spin around and do a bit of painting. It's here. I don't have to go into another room, which is normally upside down because I'm building a table or working on a video. And being in here is a nice thing. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to purchase any of the Hobby Zone stuff, I'll put all the links below. They might even be on Black Friday deal. Who knows? I don't know. So check out. Any of the paints and everything, I'll put like some links, and you know, so if you're interested in what I've got out or any tools and stuff, I'll try and put links to everything that I've got out in this setup. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again for the next video. Love, love, love.